Tell her it was there a minute ago.
Hi, Charlie. Can you hear us?
Can you hear anything?
No.
Can you hear us?
Okay, I see you unmuted. I'm gonna mute.
Can you hear?
Say it again.
Charlie, can you hear us now?
Oh, we can hear you on the speaker now, not on the
Okay.
headphones. Take those.
Okay.
All right, you can hear us?
Okay.
We can hear you,
Yeah, we-
yes.
Okay, awesome. We'll go ahead and start the meeting now, Charlie. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I can mute so we can get our noise out of your system.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm sure we've all been through similar problems, so I don't mind giving a few minutes to solve that. We'll start with a roll call. Mandy.
Director Vasquez,
Here.
Director House,
Here.
Director Fuhr absent, Director Bishop,
Here.
Director Bradford,
Here.
Director Matthews,
Here.
Director Messick.
Here.
And Gary, would you lead us on the pledge?
Sure. Please stand, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to move to the consent agenda. Is there any?
Charlie, I forgot to ask during roll call, can you please disclose anyone over the age of 18 in the room with you?
Take your phone away, Andy.
You need to unmute. Can you hear us, Charlie?
Let's just keep going.
Hi, Charlie, please try and unmute again. It's in the bottom left-hand corner, audio with the microphone. If you just click it. I can't. I don't have. I can only ask him to. Charlie, can you unmute one more time? It's in the bottom left-hand corner. There's a little red slash mark. If you click on the microphone, it'll remove the slash mark and we can hear you.
Chair Bishop, the question that Mandy is asking of Director Matthews is something that's required by the Brown Act. I suggest we come back to it later in the meeting when he's having the technical issues resolved, and we'll get it on the record at that time.
Great, thank you. Consent agenda, is there any public comment? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Bradford will second.
And we need a.
You did.
Okay. Yeah, so can we finish this and then do it? Okay. We need roll call vote again, right? Oh, yeah.
Director Bishop?
Yes.
Director Bradford?
Yes.
Yes.
Director Vasquez?
Yes.
Director Fuhr absent? Director Messick?
Yes. Yes.
Director House?
Yes. Yes.
Director Matthews?
Yes.
And Director Matthews, can you please disclose anyone over the age of 18 in the room with you?
Can I try this?
Director Matthews, can you leave it as is? Let me know if there's anyone over the age of 18 with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix his computer. This is Fred.
Okay,
Should I leave?
thanks, Fred. We'll come back to this.
Okay, I accidentally skipped over the public comment.
Tom might be asking about.
Mandy, can you read the policy?
Public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Board of Directors on any subject matter that is not on the meeting agenda and is within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person, and the total amount of time for public comment is 15 minutes. Persons participating by way of video conference or teleconference shall ensure their audio is muted at all times except when the board chair announces public comment periods. At those designated times, members of the public wishing to speak shall state their name and enable their audio for the record. When multiple members of the public wish to speak, the clerk will determine the order of speakers and announce their names accordingly. To ensure proper conduct, the board reserves the right to mute the audio and video of any member of the public violating generally accepted principles and decorum of official public meetings. Is there any virtual public comment? No. Any in person? No.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to discussion item number 4, review of emergency contracting actions concerning the Colgate penstock incident and board determination that there is a need to continue the emergency action under Public Contract Code Section 22050, subdivision C2. And Justin and Keen are going to present.
Perfect. All right. Good morning, board staff and members of the public. My name is Kian Summers. I'm the Director of Power Systems. With me today is Justin Hoffman. Justin's our engineering manager. We're going to give you kind of a tag team update on the situation and the progress we've been making out in the field, and are happy to answer any questions you may have. So with that.
Great. Thanks, Kian. So the first one is the Lake Francis Road repair. This was the first project, as you can imagine, that we started with. We need to get access down to Colgate. So with the incident, we had 2 kind of rivers that came down the mountain, both on the one on the east, one on the west. The Lake Francis Road was impacted by the west one. So here you can see the first one. It should be playing the video. Question mark, Mandy?
Yeah.
So this is a video of progress over time. The first thing, like I mentioned, was to get access down to Colgate. There were 2 areas or slides that we did rock buttressing on. That got us down to the powerhouse within roughly a week. And from there, we started adding more robust rock buttresses. This is slide 1 here that you can see. So that's been going well. Accesses continue to improve throughout time for us to get down there. One of the big tasks that we're doing is the picture on the left. This is below slide 1, which is also a rock buttress, but below slide 1, we did a soil nail solution. So that's ongoing. We decided to do a rock buttress up of that just because of the area we had. The soil nail was a good solution for downstream because of the rough rock that was upstream. We couldn't cut into the hillside. And then downslope of that was a river channel that we didn't want to fill in with a rock buttress at a 1.5 to 1 rock buttress. So we paused. We've been starting with that. That's kind of the progress to date now. We stopped last week to get some of the baker tanks and sand filters out of staging area 11. Before the incident happened, we were demobilizing from the penstock copper outage that we had. Down there at staging area 11, we had a water filtration system. So a lot of that stuff was kind of stuck down there. We got access up Lake Francis Road. Last week, we got all of that stuff out of there. That allowed us to also start sediment removal staging down there, which we'll get to in a future slide. As of now, we have contractor back on site working on the soil nail solution there. That'll continue. It's very active construction site, as you can imagine down there, not only on Lake Francis Road, but with all the other recovery efforts that we're doing down. Just looking ahead, next milestone is July timeframe, which will be mostly completed with the kind of the core of the road, and we'll go into big culvert replacements and doing some patchwork paving. When we did the initial access, we just kind of culverts to get access down there. A lot of them were compromised, didn't place them at that time.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about sediment removal. We're making steady progress on the land-based sediment. As a reminder, we have an estimated 70,000 cubic yards of sediment on land and in the river. Just to kind of give you a picture of how much we have down there, we estimate that on the upstream side of the powerhouse proper, there's about 13 feet of sediment in some places. In the western debris fan, there's about 17 feet. And then in the eastern debris fan, there's up to 24 feet of sediment in total. Just to kind of give everyone a reference, we're talking about 70,000 cubic yards of material here. In 2021, we removed about 39,000 cubic yards of sediment from behind our house dam at that time. And Nordic Industries is doing the work for us down there. I'll go ahead and hit play. So you can kind of see the progress we've made over the last couple of weeks. So shortly after the incident, about a month later, a little later in April, and then here fairly recently, you can see a significant amount of sediment has been pulled off of the site. We've been focused mainly on the area around the powerhouse so we can begin our testing necessary repairs there.
And then on to powerhouse restoration. As Kean mentioned, the focus was really getting that sediment off the top deck of the powerhouse. That sediment was wicking moisture through it and then through the powerhouse top deck and penetrations and then into the powerhouse. So the focus was to get that back away off the powerhouse. That allow us to preserve interior of the powerhouse and then also preserve some of the big assets that we have on the top deck up there. So that's been going really well. We had 24/7 operations as we started to dehumidify and then heat up the inside of the powerhouse to try to preserve some of those big assets. Since then, and back to that, we were on a standby generator in the top right corner up there, our SEG. Since then, we've restored the 12 kV power from PG&E, and so that has allowed us to cease the 24-hour operation. Drying out, dehumidifying is going very well. We did some initial condition assessment and testing on both of the generators. Both is very good. We have further comprehensive assessment testing that we'll be doing on not only the generators, but the generator step-up transformers, the generator circuit breaker, all of which are super long. All that stuff is going to be planned for around the August, September. The crew, so systems that we've brought back online. So as we dehumidified everything, we started to bring back lighting and stuff. It was our first thing we wanted to do. So we got back circuit by circuit, slowly, methodically progressing through each of those circuits, making sure, we don't have any water intrusion in circuit breakers, wiring, etc. So that's going really well. We brought back battery systems just recently. A lot of the lighting, the heating, ventilation, as we talked about. Compressed air is back online now, and water is back on. So all that's been really good. One thing, I can't remember what meeting we were in recently, but I think it's a morning meeting. One of our coworkers mentioned that, they don't see the progress when they're down there doing stuff every day. And so when we visit, which is a couple times a week, we see these big milestones of changes. And so they mentioned that it's good to hear, success and that they are making things are going well.
Excellent. So once the road stabilization was pretty well taken care of and we have the powerhouse. Next thing that we focused our attention to stabilization damaged by the water flow. We have about 70 acres of affected land out there. We're doing everything we can to stabilize as much of that area as possible before October of this year, before we get the KGS, an engineering firm, is developing plans as to the specific treatments that'll need to be taken care of at each location. And then, as of last week, saw the 30% design for each one area. So we're reviewing those right now, trying to figure out what we can accomplish in the next 6 months and what we move to a future date.
So surrounding that, as you can imagine, this is the big engineering design and construction project. We're working with KGS because a lot of this eroded area, as you start laying it back or finding solutions to that, will get really close to the penstock. So both of these projects are working kind of hand in hand. We have a notice of intent to award to an engineering design firm for the redesign of the penstock and associated equipment. The first step in that is to do an assessment, figure out what's out there. Then boots on the ground, and we've had a lot of drone imagery, helicopters, et cetera, but we haven't walked engineering, detailed through basically the penstock, CPSV area, all the way down to the powerhouse. And that's going to start and end with the report in June. That'll really give us a scope of replacement of that penstock area. So this is just design. We're expecting to get through 100% design April of 27. That's just a target. Obviously, we need to figure out what we're designing based on cause, but then also the assessment that's out there. As you can imagine, this is just the design and engineering. There's still the cost for
then tunnel, as you're probably aware, you don't want to dewater tunnels of this nature quickly. It can lead to damage. We're very fortunate. On March 24th, our staff, in addition to some engineers, inspected the entirety of the tunnel. We identified some minor rock plucking in the rock sections, and then some damage to the concrete inverts. But the tunnel's in extremely good condition. We do have a design contract that we're starting to work through to bring somebody on board to design those concrete repairs. But we don't expect any tunnel repairs to be.
And then looking ahead, so a couple of bigger milestones. We mentioned a few as we went through these slides. The penstock repair. So the first thing is that condition assessment and report. That's going to be targeted for early this summer. We have powerhouse equipment testing. So that's the generators, the generator step-up transformers, and the generator circuit breakers. That's all this summer as well. Preliminary tests are showing good on the generators, so that's a positive. We have the sediment removal within the Yuba River proper. That's starting here pretty quickly within a few weeks. We're expecting to be done with that in July. That's just the in-water work. There's still going to be a lot of work associated with disposal sites and stuff like that. And then we'll just be continuing restoring the powerhouse proper. So this is our last slide. I want to thank the engineering team and all the other people that have been helping us from February till today. It's only been 3 months. Feels like it's been way longer than that. But there's been a lot of people that have sacrificed time and effort and to get to where we are today.
Absolutely well said, Justin. And with that, we're happy to questions.
Any questions from the board?
Through the chair. Excuse me. No questions, but just thank you for your continued effort on this and appreciate the update.
Yeah, through the chair. No question as well. It was a good presentation to show where we're at, and I've been fortunate enough to go down and see it, and I know those guys they can't see it as they're doing it because it's happening right in front of them. But I don't know if maybe if we have some type of milestone calendar that you can track this for them and so they can see it in kind of real time and then maybe play it for them when we do one of those lunches for them we've been talking about. So it'd be great.
Through the chair, no complaints, but please thank everybody. Let them know that we really appreciate their hard work and good job.
I have one question about the PG&E switchyard. Have they given us their timeline at all yet? Do we know much?
They have not.
Okay. And so the critical path as we know it is just getting the penstock itself figured out and repaired.
That's our belief at this time.
Yep. Okay. Any questions from the public?
So I want to thank Kian and Justin for the presentation. Like they said, there has been a lot of work going on out there, and on a day-to-day basis, it's tough for the crew to see their progress. But I try to talk to them every week and encourage them that they are making progress. And in fact, you saw that in these photos today. I just wanted to make sure that this board got an update on some of the positives that are going on out there. We still have a lot of work to do, like they mentioned, in design and figuring out the root cause and what the total recovery is going to look like. So thanks, Justin and Kian, for that. I think one of the biggest points here, and Chair Bishop, you just said it, I think we have unofficially determined that the powerhouse and related facilities are not going to be the critical path. I mean, we've done initial testing on the 2 generators, and they're testing well. We have upcoming tests on the transformers and breakers. Like Justin said, those would be long lead time items, but indications from the equipment on site, like pressure gauges and such, show that, and basically digging them out in visual inspection, show that they appear to be in good shape and aren't likely needed to be replaced. That is excellent news for the powerhouse itself. So the team is doing a great job determining what needs to be, tested and uncovered, and getting a kind of a condition status on all the equipment. But it all appears to be in okay shape and won't be the critical path. And like you said, Chair Bishop, the penstock replacement and the piece that actually failed will be the critical path. And as I've reported in the past, the forensics evaluation will determine exactly what work needs to be done there. So we anticipate that we will get a draft forensics report in September, and that will allow us to determine a length of the outage and cost of the total recovery. So again, this is just a preliminary summary to show you the progress we've made. We will learn a lot more in September once we have that draft forensics report.
Okay. So if there's no further discussion, we need a motion for this item.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote again.
Director Bishop?
Yes.
Dr. Messick?
Yes.
Dr. House? Director, if you're absent, Dr. Bradford?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Director Vasquez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay. Andy, I go from item 4 to item 6.
Matthews, yes.
No, it's the same. I'm sorry. Item 5, receive presentation on 3 Yuba water grants awarded to Hallwood Irrigation Company for the completed seepage loss prevention, phase 1, the Tykert ditch, and pipeline conversion and flow control. Fallon.
Morning, Chair Bishop and directors. My name is Fallon Cox, and I'm the Grant Program Manager. I'm here to welcome Mark Chanlis from the Hallwood Irrigation Company and Brian Mueller from Verdontis to give a presentation on 3 recently approved or completed projects.
Morning. My name is Mark Chanlis, and I serve as one of the directors of the Hallwood Irrigation Company. Also in the audience today, we have Steve Springer, our president, and Mike Felice, our vice president of the Hallwood Irrigation Company. Hallwood very recently completed 3 significant water infrastructure projects that will serve the farms and the broader Hallwood community for decades to come. The combined cost of these projects is approximately $6 million, with constructions fully funded through generous grants supported by the Yuba Water Agency and the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. On behalf of the Hallwood community, I'd like to sincerely thank the Board of Supervisors for its continued support, and I'd also like to commend the Yuba Water Agency staff for the excellent assistance that we've had throughout this process. Realistically, Hallwood wouldn't be able to do any of this work without the support from Yuba Water Agency and the staff. So people of Hallwood, thank you for that. With that, I'm going to introduce Brian Mueller, and he's going to give you a brief overview of our.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Brian Mueller. I'm a senior project manager with Verdantis out of Folsom, and happy to be here to just summarize some of Hallwood's recent project successes in improving their irrigation system. Just going back a few years, this started with Hallwood receiving a community impact grant from Yuba-Water for about $650,000. With that, we developed a condition assessment of their entire system, developed a capital improvement plan. It really ended up with about 25 critical projects on the list. And then from that, we were able to get at about a 90% design for the top 3 projects that we'll be discussing today. There was also funding assistance to perform a pilot ditch lining project of one of their ditch systems on Highway 20 in 2024. And then following that, in 2025, they were able to complete a phase 1 flow control automation project on their system. And then really getting to today's presentation, they were able to just complete 3 critical projects: the Tiger ditch conversion, seepage loss prevention on Highway 20, one of their ditch lining projects, and then phase 2 construction of their flow control automation project. So in all, Yuba-Water funded about 58% of the costs, and they were all able to secure federal grant money from the USBR that offset that by about 42%. So just getting into the 3 projects that were just completed, starting with the Highway 20 ditch lining project. This essentially replaced the existing ditch. Some of it was lined with concrete, some of it not, but it was about 3,600 linear feet of ditch that was lined with a geomembrane liner and then covered with about 3 inches of shotcrete. We put this out to bid. Eschman Construction was the low bidder for this project. They did an excellent job. As far as funding, Yuba-Water contributed about $858,000. USBR grant was about $614,000. And so the primary purpose of this project was to address a lot of losses as water flowed through this ditch. The liner was extremely cracked and a lot of seepage happening. So in previous years, we did some estimates and some flow monitoring. We estimated about 28% of the water that entered this was lost, equated to about 27 acre feet of water savings per year. Just a few pictures of the construction. Construction began in February of this year. Obviously demolishing the existing ditch and then a lot of work to reshape the ditch. We were very lucky that March was very dry from construction standpoint, not from a water supply standpoint, but really benefited from having some good weather throughout this construction period when their ditch system was down. So there was reshaping of the ditch. One of the photo on the left, you can see like an anchor trench. So in the middle picture is the geomembrane liner that's being installed and fused together, and that is covered up on both sides with this anchor trench. Stabilize that. And then the picture on the right is the application of the 3-inch thick shotcrete liner. So that project again was completed in February, or started in February, completed in March schedule. Moving to the second project, this was the larger project of the 3. This is the Tiger ditch conversion. The Tiger ditch previously went through Teichert's mining facility there in Hallwood, traversed through there. It was really 2 different sections, and then right where Teichert's facility is, there's a 36-inch culvert that goes underneath. So this project was selected to replace the ditch instead of lining it, replace it with a large diameter HDPE pipeline. So construction of this involved 2 different sections, about 7,800 linear feet total of 42-inch pipe. It also involved about 4 concrete structures for both inlet and outlet structures for the 2 different segments. Mazingo Construction was the contractor for this. Again, they did an excellent job in completing this project under budget and ahead of schedule. Yuba-Water funded about $1.6 million for this project, and USBR grant was received for about $1.15. And again, the primary purpose of this was to address the losses that were occurring in the ditch through this aggregate mining facility. 24% of the water was lost prior to the project, so that's been remedied. So it overall achieved a savings of almost 1,400 acre feet per year. I think this was a perfect project for HDPE pipe. It had pretty much wide open space to fuse the pipe. You see the picture on the left is the fusing machine with the pipe there. The pipe came in about 50-foot long sticks of pipe fused together with these machines. They essentially dig the trench within the existing ditch alignment, fuse the pipe together in log segments, and then just drag it into the ditch and backfill it. That conveys those pictures there. I mentioned the inlet and outlet structures. These are just an example of, this is the farthest downstream outlet structure being formed up. You see the pipe entering the outlet structure, and then the picture on the right is the completed project. This is at the far downstream end. So this is a picture of the water that's exiting the pipe below, and then the water pushes up to the top through the grates, and then it's following the path down to the existing ditch downstream. And then the third project is the second phase of the flow control automation. This project replaced about 8 gates across 5 of their diversions. And the main part of this was replacing, you see on the picture here, some old sluice gates, some old check structures with flashboards, with new automated gates and flume gate system. Allwood pre-purchased the equipment from Rubicon Water. It consists of both called slip meters and flume gates. And then they also hired Laurel Ag and Water to install the gates and prepare the ditch for these gates. Funding was provided by Yuba-Water, $560,000, USBR grant of about $442,000. And this is pretty much the completed project here, various sites. So the west ditch here in the middle shows an example of the flume gate. There was new concrete head walls and check structures installed with the flume gate. And then on the right side are the 2 slip meters. These are the diversions off of the main ditch into various diversions off of this. So the west ditch, Highway 20 diversion, handy ditch head were pretty similar type of projects. And then the picture on the right is the Baldwin ditch diversion, which was just a flume gate installed with a new concrete structure and catwalks. These are all automated, so you can see they have solar panels for power. So these are all automated. Instead of cranking a wheel, operators are able to either control these on site with you see the picture on the right, or just from their cell phone or tablets. So these projects really help them to improve the flexibility in how they operate the system and control the system. Gives them remote monitoring and control alarms. And it also saves water just by increased efficiency and having a better handle of their flows through their irrigation system. Also helps with collaboration with neighboring districts. Part of the canal system they share with Cordua. So they have some view-only capabilities between the 2 systems to allow them to coordinate on flows and diversions. And then finally, just better flow measurement and data collection. They're able to better anticipate future water demands. They have historical trends now. and be able to also the last slide, this is just a funding summary. So again, between the three projects for the Yuba Water side of the funding, Yuba Water funded about $3.1 million for buying for these three projects. Good news this year that the estimated expenditures are about 2.7, so we were able to come in under budget by about $380,000 between the three projects. So really good news. We were able to use the full amount of the USBR funding, and so that $382,000 is just a good example of just use of local funding and leveraging federal grant monies as they became available. So throughout construction, we did a good job of just looking at cost efficiencies. We did some value engineering, especially on the Tiger pipeline, to reduce some of those costs to come in under budget, and able to say that we can turn approximately $380,000 from these projects back to the residents of Yuba County. That is my presentation. And any questions or comments?
I have a question through the chair. So I kind of did the math in my head on the ditches, but how about the pipeline? How much is that a foot? Putting the pipe in?
It was, let's see, the construction contract is about, I don't have a calculator, but about 2.4 million, 2.5 million divided by 7,800 feet. Maybe about 400 or 500. About $400 a foot.
That's kind of what I came up with on the Highway 20 concrete ditch. So it's about the same price.
Yeah, I think it's actually a little bit less. Yeah,
the pipe
probably just more economy of scale. With the Tiger pipeline is a larger project.
Yeah. All right. Well, my other comment is thank Mark and Mike and Steve for getting these projects done. I know it's been a long time coming, so appreciate you guys. And you too.
Gary?
Through the chair, just want to thank you for giving this presentation and an update to really see what an impact those funds can have. And it was just an outstanding presentation. I love seeing the before and after. It really shows us, I think, the necessity of the project and the value of the project. So thanks. I can get this thing on. Here we go. So I want to kind of applaud the ability of putting in some tracking measures in there too, so you can see how much water's flowing through, and with the automatic gate system, I'm sure that was something that you had to pay for additionally. So I think that's a good thing, because we're always being asked to be good stewards of the water and show it, and we have to have the data. So I appreciate that. It'll help us fight the rest of the state for our water at some point, I'm sure. So just thank you.
Through the chair, I'd like to thank you. Presentation. Are you going to show this out at Hallwood to maybe a lot of the people out there? I'm sure they all have questions. You disrupted their water for a little while, but I thought this was very interesting, very active. It's just people don't sleep through this. They actually pay attention. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. I'm really excited about saving 4,000 acre feet of water a year, and the timing of that to get that. Hopefully that's another 4,000 acre feet we can deliver somewhere else this year when delivery is going to be challenging. So the timing is wonderful. And the other thing, my other comment is that I hope we don't stop planning more projects, because it's my hope, I think I can probably speak for the whole board, that we will get back to a point where we can help fund some of these projects, and we don't know how long that's going to be, but let's keep thinking about where we can save the next 4,000 acre feet of water. That's just an incredible thing to me. So any comments from the public? If not, thanks very much. Oh, Willie. Yeah.
Sorry to steal the board's thunder, but I do want to make some comments on this, similar to what the board members here made and what you just summarized, Chair Bishop. But When the founders of this agency created us, we were created for flood control and water supply, and we knew we would get to a point where the power purchase agreement with PG&E was expired, and we were operating our generators on our own and investing that generation revenue back into the community. The flood control investments are pretty obvious. It's build robust levees. On the water supply side, when we talk about investing in water supply, this is a textbook example of what I think our founders wanted us to do with our investments. And like you, Chair Bishop, there will be, I will say, there will be a day where we'll be back up and running at Colgate and be able to reinvest in these things. And I want to use this as a textbook example of just how to do that. And I want to kind of summarize some of the items Brian included in his presentation here. One, they did a condition assessment. So they didn't just run out and piecemeal and say, hey, we think this one area is leaking, so let's start there. They analyzed their entire system. And then secondly, they did a pilot project. They did 900 feet just to see how much it would cost and how it worked. And then they identified the critical areas of need. And it wasn't just, well, we need to line the entire canal. It was, let's line portions of canal that are experiencing seepage. Let's pipe portions of canal where a pipe is the right solution. And then let's modernize our, I'll call them the digital assets or the operating assets. So it's a multi-stage, multi-effort improvement to modernize what really are 1800s water rights. I mean, these canals have been out there since the 1800s in various forms. So I just wanted to point out that this is a textbook example that we want all of our water districts and local water agencies in the county to move forward with. Capital improvement plans, assessments, and I'll just point out that North Yuba Water District is doing a similar effort on their canals. Some of these pictures of that shotcrete are very similar to what you see in the North Yuba Water District. So the conclusion of this is I want to thank Hallwood for being the example and also thank this board for continuing the investment in this. I mean, this work happened during our incident, basically February and March, and this board made the commitment to uphold grants that we had already executed, like this grant that leverages federal funds, Bureau of Reclamation. So we're able to get a few $1 million, even given our incident, our penstock incident, we're still able to leverage a few $1 million into Yuba County to manage our water, save our water, and improve the infrastructure and the operating capabilities of this. So thanks to Hallwood for being the example, and thanks to this board for continuing the grant contracts we already had executed. It's a great example of water supply infrastructure investments that I think the founders of this agency really wanted us to do. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Willie. And I think we're ready for your report now, so you can keep your microphone on.
All right, here we go. So it's turning out to be, from a water supply standpoint, it's turning out to be about an average year. It's not an average year at all in snowpack or timing of the runoff. We are 121% of normal in our storage in New Bullard's Bar year to date, and that's, and I've been reporting this at all of our board meetings, that's pretty much due to the early runoff or the early snow melt. The Army Corps is allowing us to encroach in the flood space in New Bullard's Bar. We're a little less than 5 feet from full. We will have the water supply this year. We'll have some conveyance limitations because we're limited to the low-level outlet at New Bullard's Bar, but our member units are well aware of those, and I think they'll see some minimal impacts, but definitely some impacts where they may have to pump some groundwater to meet their demands throughout the summer season. Justin and Keen gave you an update on what's going on with the engineering group and work at Colgate, so I will kind of skip through that. I will let you know that the maintenance team are also working on, the recovery at Colgate, but continuing on with all their other work in the watershed, like getting the water treatment plant up and running, working with the Forest Service to get our recreation facilities up and running and ready for the recreation season. The communications, the ComTech team is been working at Colgate. Keen and Justin mentioned the battery systems and all the comms related to that in Colgate. Step by step, they're getting those pieces of equipment back up and running. And I mean, the watershed still has to continue on. So one thing I did report at our last board meeting, and I'll reiterate today, since our last board meeting, we did have to take the Narrows 2 generator offline. It's unfortunate because we do have, some natural flow coming into Englebright that we could pass through that generator. But because of some transmission protection issues that PG&E identified recently, they had to ask us to take that unit offline to protect their transmission infrastructure. Carl and our team's working with PG&E to come up with a short-term solution to that. We don't know exactly when that generator will be brought back online, but we're working through it. We are shifting to an El Nino pattern that's referring to the temperatures of the Eastern Pacific. And what I'm seeing in news articles is what they're calling a super El Nino. So like 3 degrees warmer on average ocean temperatures in the Eastern Pacific. I always kind of give you the caveat, what does that mean for California hydrology? We won't know until it happens. But we are experiencing or seeing extreme, 3 degrees is extreme in the Pacific Ocean. So we don't know exactly what we'll see next hydrology season, but there's definitely an anomaly going on in the Pacific. On the legal side, I already kind of mentioned in summary of Kian and Justin's presentation, the continued forensics investigation, but I'll go ahead and read the legal update here. The investigation into the penstock failure mode continues. The independent forensic team submitted its plan of action to FERC on Friday. And this week and next, we are making the rupture site available to interested third parties for site visits. And the forensic team's intent is to have the ruptured piece of pipe removed in the next month for analysis. The failed piece of penstock will be taken to a lab as part of the forensic analysis to prove some of their theories on the failure mode. On the communication side, Sammy Nall, Kyle Morgado, and Mandy all supported the Lyndhurst High FFA by providing feedback on their presentation about the impacts of AI on farming. Dee Dee gave a presentation to the South Yuba Rotary Club about the salmon expedition tours. And later today, Dee Dee will be presenting to the Communications Committee at Aqua about the communications response to the penstock incident. And lastly, our next board meeting is on May 19th, when we will also have an ABP meeting that day. Lastly, I would like to thank Mandy for her patience today with all of the technical challenges. We started a few minutes late. What happens here is Zoom goes through automatic updates. And when we get here at 8 a.m. to set this meeting up, you don't know the configuration of Zoom. She ended up having to work with our IT team to reset a bunch of the programming in Zoom. And Charlie, thank you for your patience. I think 99% of the issues this morning were on our end and not your end. So thank you for your patience there. And I'm happy that we're able to accommodate Charlie remotely. It's really great to have him on. But I really want to thank Mandy for her patience this morning. She worked through it and we got through the meeting. So thank you, Mandy.
Okay, for director's reports, Charlie, if you could unmute, we will start with you. If not, we'll go ahead and start here, and I'll get to you at the end, Charlie. So, John.
Well, I said it earlier under my breath. Charlie needs somebody under 18 with him in the room. I would like to thank the staff, too, that showed up for the Lyndhurst FFA presentations. We did it twice. They came on 2 different days. The kids did a great job down at their state final match thing. So thank you guys that showed up and gave them the feedback. It was really great. This Thursday is National Day of Prayer Breakfast. I bought a table to Yuba City at the Venture Church at 6:30 a.m. And I would like to invite anybody that wants to go to sit at my table. So let me know. May 16th is the Yuba-Sutter Sheriff's Aero Squadron Dinner, When Pigs Fly 3, at the Yuba County Airport from 5 to 10 p.m. It's going to be a really good dinner. This is our 3rd one. The water agency's always helped us in the past. This year we're making it without you guys, so it's still going to be a great dinner. We've decided to go no live auction, just silent auction, so you don't have to pay attention to anything. Just come and eat. We have live music, and should be a great time. So if anybody wants tickets, see me. And that was it.
Gary.
I missed our last board meeting as I was at Cap to Cap, and as always, that was a very valuable trip. After getting back the next day, I had a NACWA board meeting and day at the ranch, which was also great. I had not been to the day at the ranch event before, and so that was nice to be able to go out there. Yesterday, I was in Sacramento all day for Aqua JPIA membership summit and board meeting. And then on Wednesday night, NACWA is having an open house and reception at their office in Sacramento, and I'll be attending that in the evening. So a couple events coming up this Saturday. Roll and Stroll for the Yuba County Office of Education. That's in the morning, I think 8 to noon. And I think Director House and I will be judging some chili eating competition there, so that should be fun. On the related to Yuba County, Friendship Park groundbreaking is from 2 to 4 in West Linda on Saturday. And then later that day, I think from 3 to 8 is the Spring Fling for Mother's Day at Ufe Wood Park in Plumas Lake. So that, I think there's some live music, some vendors, beer gardens, stuff like that going on there. So quite a busy day on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. And that's it.
Thank you. Andy? Okay, Rennick.
Yeah, just to touch base on a couple things. So Dee Dee did reach out this week asking, and I kind of want to put it out there in public, that they're trying to find ways to save the fishing expedition for the 4th grade classes. So we probably need to get innovative countywide to figure that out. Be a good opportunity for us to watch them kind of change the program or make, hard cuts or whatever they need to do to save the program, and maybe make it for charge for certain schools, and or we can find enough donors to float the program. I think they're $130,000 short of floating the program. So just opportunity there to work together and figure that out. The chili cook-off on Saturday, it's not a chili eating contest, guys. It's a chili cook-off. I don't think I could eat that much chili, but all those benefits, the program there goes to local CTE funding for our youth. So something that's pretty big in my life. So if you have a chance to come out and see the car show, participate in the chili cook-off, or even just come by and say hi to the Yuba County Office of Education staff, just to kind of give them a thank you for what they're doing with our youth there. That'd be great. And then we do have the Friendship Park ribbon cutting on Saturday. You're going to get to hear a prepared speech from me. I don't do prepared speeches anymore. So they asked me to prepare ahead of time, so it'll be nice. But and then I had the opportunity to sit in on that Lyndhurst presentation as well. John invited us. The kids were speaking on not just AI, they were talking about data centers, how they affect agriculture. So they had kids set up from each perspective, from like Microsoft's perspective to environmentalist perspective to Yuba Water and Yuba County's perspective. So we had kids that were well educated on land use, on agriculture, local farming, kids that were educated on data centers and what they take to run. And these kids are ultimately just doing a public speaking competition, but it has to be fact-based, and it was good to see the partnership there. So thank the staff, anybody who was involved with helping those youth out, and I hope they won their state competition. So
thank you. Charlie, he has left the meeting. Okay. Then my only thing was I wanted to say what Willie already said, that Mandy I think she handles the curveballs every meeting, and today it took a few extra minutes, but always professionally. And there's a lot that goes into putting this meeting together and making it come off every couple of weeks. So thank you, Mandy. And with that, Andrew. Okay.
Before we adjourn the meeting, Director Matthews had Fred Matthews and Linda Keegan in attendance in the room he was attending the meeting in.
Okay. Thank you. We'll adjourn the meeting.
p.m. Marysville City Council regular meeting. 6 p.m. Yuba City Council regular meeting. Like and follow Government Watch and our public service live streams. You can support or sponsor. Help keep the community aware with and share Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. It's the truth that comes through.